welcome to do the same. It is the 18th. I am just slurping up that jury duty. So we've got, you know, week and a half left of days left in this month. Um, just briefly, the topic today is threats and implied threats. So I will just begin. When you're in an interrogation room, it's in the police's best interest to lie or misrepresent information. Often in the case of them being more knowledgeable than they actually are. What interrogators, police, all kinds of intelligence agencies, when they're getting information, they like to appear more omnipotent than they are. And when you're being held in an interrogation room and it draws on, and you're ill fed and you want to leave, but they are in the way of the door, or maybe you are locked in and they keep pestering you. They keep asking the same questions over and over and over. Perhaps they'll rephrase, perhaps they'll go over it and over it in hopes that there's a crack in your answer, which they can make into a fault line, which they can make into a opening crevasse. Or there's two individuals and then they separate those two and they question both of them. What's your name? What's your date of birth? Why are you here? Are you traveling for business or pleasure? Et cetera, et cetera. And then if those answers don't match their IDs, or if their answers don't match each other and they're traveling together, that's dang near enough to start an investigation, because why would those answers not line up? And when you have the good cop, bad cop, where one is up in your face, one is hounding you, yelling at you, cussing at you, insulting you, laughing when you're crying, etc., and the other is, hey, that's no way to treat an inmate, and then suddenly you're drawn more to one versus the other. And it's a very powerful tool, which is known as the unknown. You don't know when it will be over. You don't know if the room gets colder and colder and colder, or hotter and hotter and hotter. So when you're sweating, they can actually use that as, oh, he was profusely sweating and, he's looking nervous, he's twitching, he's wiping the sweat from his brow, when they're in control of the temperature. Or they say, oh, he's very closed off. He's arms folded wide over, huddling. But they control the temperature. So whether hot or cold, and as several of you have already noticed, in court, they keep it abnormally cold because there's less volatile action. So the colder we are, the less violent we are. And the inverse is true. The more the ambient temperature rises, the more violent and heated people get. You've heard the term hot-headed, where once that heat rises in your internal body, then you are more aggressive. That's just how it is. And I think chemicals and volatile compounds work the same way, where when they are closer to ignition or closer to a reaction, the hotter it is, the less they need a catalyst to begin that chain reaction. I digress. So that's the topic of today. I wanted to keep this one nice and short. Let me know what questions you have. And yeah, I also am curious, but I understand why you wouldn't share these details. But let me know if you've been in an interrogation or been under arrest or had false accusations sent to you or false reports. A crazy ex, maybe it's, a pesky neighbor, etc., etc. Share your story. I mean, I know it's on a public forum, but I am quite interested in who is experiencing this and who my subscribers are. So we will definitely be reading those.